Wi-Fi connection.
I've got 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't believe we have any amendments, do we, Brian?
Nope, hopefully everything on there is correct.
So I just need approval to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Review the minutes from meeting January 20th.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
Second it.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Accounts payable. Tina.
I looked in the notes, so there's kind of passed away. Most normal pass-throughs, I think there are a couple with some salt for the streets came through. Some engineering on Jefferson, so that's 77004, and then Monarch. So is that the cameras, Brian, that are
Yep.
going to be around town? So that's 77009. Say, other than those, the rest of it's pretty general expense. So I make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $209,334.66.
Any questions or further discussions on accounts payable?
I'll second that.
Oh,
Bill, workers' comp.
sorry, couldn't hear me. Oh, the big one. Oh, did you want to talk about the big one? That went up quite a bit? Kim's in the room now, I can see her. So the 76987 for the workers' comp insurance?
That's on the agenda. It'll be coming up here.
Yep, so that's what we got.
All in favor? Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Thanks, Tina. Public comments. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. Any public comments? I will close that portion. We will jump down to 8A, Resolution 2022-05, Campground Expansion DNR Outdoor Recreation Grant. Brian.
Yeah, as you know, the park board has been looking at expanding the campground. Originally we were looking at 19 more sites. We pared that back a little bit. Based on comments from the first public meeting we had, we're at 13 sites now, moved a little bit farther away from the trail. But part of the process is we are looking at applying for a DNR outdoor recreation grant to assist in paying for that. It would be a matching grant. And we need to do a resolution which basically authorizes me to apply for the DNR grant if we proceed. We've still got a couple more public meetings. In the meantime, the grant is due towards the end of March, but we need to get this resolution in place. Joshua from CETA is doing the grant writing for us, and he requested that we pass this resolution or consider this resolution sooner rather than later. So knowing that we've got a couple more public meetings, I just want to be clear that this does not lock us into anything. It's just another piece of the paperwork that we want to have in place. So like the council to approve me to apply for a DNR grant if we decide to move forward with the campground expansion.
Brian, what was that max again on the grant dollar amount? I know it's a matching, but what was the max that we can receive?
I think the max, I think it was $250,000.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody other questions for Brian?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2022-05.
Second it.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes 4-0-0. Thanks, Brian. 8B, West Avenue Sidewalk Improvements, final pay request. Mr. Angerman.
Hey, Mayor. So in your packet is the final pay request. This pay request is for the retainage amount for the West Avenue Sidewalk project. Staff is recommending, and I'm recommending, they accept the project, make final payment to Schumacher Excavating. So just a reminder, we have this on the agenda for final pay request only because it does take official council action to start the warranty. And then just a couple things to note. I think you maybe heard this before, but I think the project went reasonably well. We did have a few items that were unanticipated. An example would be when the contractor was digging in 4th Street, there was a fuel tank abandoned in the road, so that had to be taken care of. Also, at both the 5th Street and 9th Street intersections, there was some storm sewer that was not on plans, and there was some old storm sewer that was in poor shape that was added to the project to take care of some things. So overall, I think the project looks pretty good. We've estimated or talked quite a bit about what to do there at the corner, 5th with that retaining wall, but I think the project went according to plan. It looks pretty good. So, with that, nothing to add unless Brian has anything to add.
Nope, nothing to add. Yeah, I think Bill's right. It looks pretty good. Been covered with snow, so we'll see in the spring when the kids start using a little bit more. But it's nice to have the water sidewalk. We don't have the big pitfalls on the sidewalk anymore, the big heaps, and so that helps a ton. I think it looks nice.
I'm sorry, is that the same thing that's on the accounts payable, the last item?
Yep.
So does that go to WHKS or to Schumacher?
It would actually go to Schumacher. So I'd be happy to.
We will fix that. Noted.
Okay, so you want a motion to pay the final pay request to Schumacher Excavating?
Yeah. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes 4-0-0. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Mayor.
8C, 2022 workers' compensation premiums. Kim, I hear you got some good news.
Well, I don't have good news. Actually, overall in the state, in fact, Brian and I just heard about it today. There has been an overall rise in PTSD claims in the state, which has necessitated the increase of League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust premiums. We had one claim or a couple claims that raised our modifier. So that in turn raised our rates as well. So last year we saw our rates increase about $22,000. We went from like 38,000 to 60,000. And this year we went from, I believe, 60 to 72. We're hoping this will level off. I know that the league and other places are trying to put some programs in place to mitigate the occurrence of this. But as we know, with the upheaval we've seen up in the Minneapolis area and stuff, we're all paying insurance premiums that are based on some of the fallout from those events. So I just wanted to make you aware of it. I included the memo the league sent with so that you could see what they were explaining. This is the first time they've ever sent a memo with premiums, so obviously it's a very significant thing. We have to have workers' comp insurance, but I just wanted to make it known to you so you could see that we will need to adjust our budget going forward.
Any further questions for Kim? Thanks for the information, Kim.
Thank you.
8D, Police Department 2021 Annual Report. Chief.
Well, before you have a copy of my annual report. So as I listed in here in just a couple of short paragraphs, we had one officer depart in 2021, Officer Brian Wormsby, who took a position with Lake City Police Department. And that vacancy led to the hiring of Officer Tyler Evenson, who came from the Edina Police Department. Officer Justin Wallerick was able to attend the Drug Recognition Evaluator School, completing the grueling 3-week course successfully and completing his testing in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Zumbrota-Mazeppa schools did not renew our contract with the police department for the school resource officer. However, this did not affect our officer strength as the department needed additional police support, allowing the department to create its first promotable position of sergeant, and Officer Wallerick was promoted to that position. As for the statistics, there was not really a significant increase. There's a 16 call difference from last year, so we were pretty much running the same. If you take traffic stops out of the equation, which are, a lot of our proactive policing, it has to do with traffic enforcement, we had a little over 100 more different types of, other standard calls for service than the year previously. I do want to note, I've got these colorful charts that are so well enjoyed. That's right. So in your packet, the one that says Part A offenses, I failed to change that from 2020 to 2021. So if that could be noted, but this is accurate. Yep. The interesting thing is I looked at 2020s and they virtually look identical as far as Part A crimes. You can see within the numbers of what I had, they are different. So they're not the same if you were to look at last year's. And then the Part B crimes, Part A crimes are a lot of your more serious offenses. So they're typically all felony level offenses, where your Part B crimes are your misdemeanor, gross misdemeanor, incident-based calls. And that grew the NIBRS non-reportable. That grew significantly because, for one, NIBRS, which is a national incident-based system, was newer in 2020. And so 2021, we're used to what we're doing, and they've kind of adjusted some of the offenses to be non-reportable. So they're still, if they were reportable, they would show probably very similar in the Part B too. Aside from that, nothing that really stood out to me as I went through all the numbers. I try to do my best because I've got to look at like 3 different documents to try to fish out what the actual numbers are, because they don't always cooperate. Because like when I go through my Part A and Part B, there may be things that didn't push through, but we did have that call for service, and maybe it was because it wasn't acted upon as far as charging somebody or whatnot. But so I try to make sure that, you know what we're doing, what types of calls we're doing. And it's a laundry list of different things. And it's, I've got a 5-year average in here. It used to be 6, but I reduced it down to 5 because 5 sounded better, and I'm starting to run out of space. It seems like every year I've got to add a new category because our record management creates some new statistic that we haven't been recording. And like, I think it was 2020, we asked the county, for instance, let's have a fingerprinting category, because we got bombarded with fingerprint stuff in 2020. And, we were one of the few places that would do applicant fingerprinting for people. Those type of things have to be done at a valid place. And we did take on quite a lot of them last year, and that's something that I've had a lot of great compliments as to us being there for people, for their adoptions, for their gun permits that are out of state, for their nursing licenses, which is most of them. You can always tell when a quarter must have just got over and people graduated, because we get all these young ladies that are coming in that are getting their nursing degrees, and same with school teachers. So, but all in all, it was pretty similar to the year before.
One question.
On the driver license violations, went from 1 last year to 44 this year. Is that a typo or is
What's that?
the driver license violations?
The driver's license violations?
It just seemed like a significant amount compared to the previous years. So I just didn't know if that was, put 2 4s in there or if it.
Yeah, it
really was.
probably, no, I'll bet you there was probably a different license, because some of these things were under different categories.
Oh, so it just shifted.
Right.
Got
So
it.
like driver's license violations might have been like driving after expiration, or driving in violation of like ignition interlock, things like that. We just didn't see them, as you can see, the previous years, they were pretty minimal.
Right.
Well, now they've just kind of shifted so many of these things that we actually, it looks like a big increase because something else changed. So I can only put in what is generated, and yeah, there are some odd ones that just didn't seem to make sense to me either, but you can see where they come through in the actual citations. But so, yeah.
Any questions for Chief? Thanks for the information, Chief. Well done.
You bet.
Let's do another one for the Chief. Taser purchase.
I might as well stay right here.
Yeah.
So I've got a memo in there to purchase 2 new Taser 26Ps, which is the current unit that we use. We did get a refresh on the 5 units that were on a lease program. In that lease program, they actually ended probably a year prior, and initially told me that I was kind of out of luck on it. And I thought, well, wait a second, I already paid for all these because of the premiums that we were paying. And they agreed that we were due another set. So they did honor that. And so we got 5 brand new ones. We still had 1 old one. And so that's a total of 6. And so these 2 that I'm purchasing, one will be for the next employee position that we're going to fill, and we need a spare for part-time staff. We've been running on an old X26, which is a previous edition, and it's not working very well. So it definitely needs to be retired. So aside from that, working with the capital plan to try to figure out, okay, how should we buy these in the future? Should we stagger them? I know the fact of the matter is they're not cheap. They're going to continue to be very expensive. And I don't want to ideally have to buy 8 of them all at once. So we got to figure that out in the future, but it's another tool that we utilize and hopefully don't have to use.
I just need a motion to approve the purchase.
How long do they last?
They're rated at 5 years. So, and that's what that program was. It was every 5 years. It sounded like a great deal, and I don't think they felt they were making enough money on it. So clearly, considering the new product they have is about twice as much. So
Does the new one come with the 1-year warranty, and then on here is the option for the 4-year extended warranty is on there too? So that would cover.
I think that's quoted, I want to say that's quoted with the 4-year warranty.
Yeah, it says it in there. I was just saying, does it come with 1 year? Because then it would be covered for the full 5 years
I doubt
of
it.
service.
I doubt it. I'll bet you
Okay.
it's strictly a 4-year warranty, and that last year you're on your own. Where that other program, if something, it didn't belong to us, it belonged to them. So if there was something wrong with it, they just fix it.
Okay.
So like in your capital plan, you'll look to probably purchase 2 more prior to them actually
Correct.
being.
To try to, and the thing is
Kind of
if
stagger
they're
it and go forward.
if they're still in good working order, they could be turned into spare unit,
Sure.
which is the old one that we have right now. That's actually the one I'm carrying. That one will end up becoming our part-time spare unit once I get a refresh here or get the other two, so.
Perfect. I have no more questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 tasers.
Any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes 400. Chief, why don't you stay there one more time?
I will.
Posting for the second sergeant position.
So we are looking to post this position. The plan was to try to get this position filled in April. Depending on circumstances, we'll see where that actually shakes out, but that is the plan. I don't believe it'll be any time sooner than that. It will definitely be April or beyond that. So in order to do that, we need to start the process now to get applicants and review applicants. We do have a closing date of the 18th, or I'm sorry, yeah, the 18th of February. And then we're looking at, was it a March 10th, if I'm correct?
Earlier.
Yeah, I think it was March 10th.
February.
That way we, have some time between there and the next council meeting if we have something to approve for the position. So it's open externally as well as internally.
And this was a budgeted position within the 2022 budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the posting for the sergeant position.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes 400. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you much.
8G, purchase agreement for 165 Gulf Links Avenue. Dylan.
Yeah, so we received an offer on our city-owned lot up in the Highlands. A purchase agreement was submitted by Zambrota High School. The purchase agreement is for $50,000 in cash, closing on March 1st. They utilized Matt, which we would too, so that makes it easier for that process. And this is for if you're familiar, the school's construction program. So they buy the lots and the kids go up there and build homes. It's full price, closing date's pretty soon. And on my memo, I just attached some state statutes surrounding this. For example, if you want to accept, negotiate, talk about it, you can do that in closed meeting as well.
I think we got what we asked for, so that's good. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase agreement for 165 Gulf Links Avenue.
Second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes 400. Thanks, Dylan. I know Dylan worked hard on getting that lot listed, and I know you had a couple other people, but good job of getting that sold. Reports. Mr. Grudem.
Oh yeah, and not a lot tonight. I just want to thank Mayor and Council for allowing Kim and I to come up to this Minnesota Finance Seminar. Sat through a basics of TIF financing this morning, and then a bonding case study this afternoon, which was really interesting. Kim is doing a full tax increment financing track for 2 days, so it's takes a little bit of Mountain Dew and to get all the way through, a little caffeine, but no, it's really good. It's interesting stuff. So that's all I've got.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. Kim, you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to report that, we, after last budget, I set up a budget schedule with the department heads, and we had our first kind of meeting where we discussed capital projects. So the goal is that this year when we do the budget's going to look a little different, and I'm also going to have the capital equipment schedules for like the next 5 years within the budget, so you can see what we're projecting. I think the things that went well, we're starting to identify some of the issues we have and some of the things we need to fund, and some of the things maybe we can put in a different category. So I think the department heads have done a great job of identifying their needs, and I think it's going to make the process smoother.
Perfect. Thanks, Kim. Bill.
Only one small item, and that is the engineering team will be meeting tomorrow on the North Somerville Sanitary District. We will be having the first round of what's called the project priority list applications that Brian will execute. will be submitted in the next couple weeks. So work is ongoing. It's still ongoing in the background on that project.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Mike, do you have anything, Mike Olson?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike. Chief?
I have nothing further.
Matt?
No.
Miranda?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Todd's fine. Dylan? James?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
I have nothing. Tina?
I was just gonna mention, since Dylan mentioned the construction project, the school construction project, sorry, I don't have a mic. It doesn't work because this was a poor purchase.
Okay, you still hear me, Brian? Sorry about that. No, not really. So I think that there's an open house on the current school build, the 13th from Saturday, Sunday, from noon to 2, 10 to noon, something. Miranda, maybe we could put that out on our Facebook stuff. Yeah, I think it was the schools. So, something to support or walk through. Or it's always been a great. It's right on the corner of Gulfview and Mulligan. So I think that's all I have.
Perfect. Sarah? Chris?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, Mayor.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have fun with your numbers. So, right.